Hello Sagittarius, welcome to your weekly tarot reading for the week of July 13th to the 19th. So I am using a different format for these videos, mainly to save time and just to try it out. But I will be doing a 4-card spread, which will address your first house, your 4th house, your 10th house, and your 7th house. The first house mainly deals with the ascendant, and it's basically the energy that you project out into the world for this week. The 4th house deals with your family situation and the things that, it's also your emotional state, I feel, because when you think of the home, it's usually, your emotional ties, your emotional attachments, and just your emotional state. The 7th house deals with relationship in romance or business. The 10th house deals with your career, but also finances. So let's see how this works out. So 4 cards. First house, you have good cards. 4th house, 7th house, and the 10th house. Let's do this one. Okay, so for the first house, we have the World. And in fact, if you look at the natal chart, the first house is basically where your rising sign rises and is placed in the natal chart. But it's also like a lot of, it dictates the rest of the placement of the chart and also the rest of the signs indicated in the chart. So what I am trying to say here in a very roundabout way is that you essentially have the World in your first house. So I do feel in general a lot of opportunities are opening up for you guys this week, possibly opportunities for international travel or interactions with people from different backgrounds, like cultural background, ethnic, linguistic backgrounds as well. For those of you who are thinking about, even returning back to school, this is a very favorable aspect, or even taking a short-term class, or even like stepping out of your comfort zone, okay? One of the only danger that I can, see with this is, as a Sagittarius, you tend to see like the very, very big picture in general. So the challenge here is to, I guess, like come down from the clouds and come back down to earth and deal with the mundane things and the responsibilities and the urgent, immediate things in your surrounding in order to have like a very streamlined, workflow, but also life flow, okay? So it's sort of like being in a dreamy world where your dishes are kind of neglected, or your personal responsibilities are kind of neglected, okay? So that's the only danger I would say, but in general, when the World, the Star, or any other, favorable cards land in your first house, it looks very favorable. And at the same time, a lot of you might have opportunities here to basically spread knowledge, but in a way where it's like in a casual environment. I wouldn't say it's in an institutional environment, but you might encounter people who are, ethnically, culturally, linguistically, just from a different background, who have different life paths, and you're exchanging your philosophical belief system with the other person. And more than anything, they are going to come to you and ask for your expertise. Like, a lot of people will come to ask for your opinion in general. So there's a lot of interaction in general, and you are seen as somebody who's very worldly, who's very I would say, like, who's very wise and philosophical. So it's a really good reception, from your external environment, okay? In terms of your 4th house, we have the Page of Swords here. And I do feel in the 4th house traditionally deals with the family, and it deals with the things that makes us like feel familiar or feel comfortable with another person. In this situation, I do feel in your home environment, you could possibly have a roommate situation, or the people who are, relatives and things like that, siblings even, or even children. You have a Page of Swords, which is somebody who is potentially an air sign. There is a lot of communication exchange between you and the people in your environment. At the same time, there's also like a mental jostling, like a very strong mental rapport in which you're not delving into like, you know, the really heavy, uncomfortable topics, and there's nothing wrong with that. So the communication tends to be very, very light in your immediate circle, in your environment, okay? So even in the work front as well, there's very light, jostling mental rapport that is it is satisfying, mainly because you're not so personally invested and the other person doesn't really take offense to anything that you're saying because they are in the upright position. So the air sign in your environment, there's a lot of communication as well. It is a Gemini, an Aquarius, or a Libra. So it looks good. And a lot of you too might be contemplating travel. So these cards together can be, you know, a multiplicative effect in which you're planning travel, or you are trying to implement like a travel opportunity, or you're just trying to solidify a travel opportunity with a family member. All right, so looking good. So in terms of your 7th house, this is a really, really nice card. It's the Ace of Wands, which is like the ignition or even reignition of passion, okay? So there is a sense here that you feel very rejuvenated, and you feel very passionate. There's something in your relationship sector that has you, you know, excited about the future. So in this deck, what I am getting here is just as the in the 7th house, it deals with romantic partners or even business partners. So for those of you who have recently like formed a business alliance, I do feel that it's like 2 heads are better than one, and you and your partner might have come up with a really, really good idea to make money, like a very good income generating idea, and it has a lot of potential. And you know, it's like 2 heads are better than one. So both of you came together and you have this really nice, good gift, and because of it, you feel that it is going to be able to help you expand your world. It could also be able to generate enough income for you where you both can travel, okay? So also in a romantic situation, I do feel in general it is very, very favorable. A lot of you might be involved with like an air sign. A lot of you might live with an air sign, and there's a lot of like affection for those who are in a relationship with an air sign. There's a lot of affection. There's a lot of like passion brewing. So it's looking really good. So in terms of your 10th house, this is career and finances. There's a lot of work that needs to be tackled, okay? And I know that Sagittarius in general, you tend to be a little bit scattered, and with the expansive energy for this week, that's what I mean earlier by, you know, come back down to earth and take care of things in an orderly fashion. So I do feel quite a bit of responsibilities are going to creep up on you. So you're kind of like spending your time in the clouds. You're kind of like thinking about your next voyage. There's a lot of communication between you and people in your home environment, and you know, a lot of you could potentially be like going out a lot, socializing, and even like going to parties and special events and things like that. So your home responsibilities, first of all, are kind of neglected. And also in the work environment, make sure you don't procrastinate. Make sure you designate more time than you think you need on the work front, because I do feel responsibilities will creep up on you. And it's nice to like plan all these things, but you know, realistically on the work front, I do feel that you might be a little bit slammed by responsibilities. So try to keep yourself grounded and try to take care of things in an orderly fashion, rather than resorting to escapism, okay? So the only danger here is just, you know, the responsibilities. But I do feel with this card, the 10 of Wands, it's the responsibilities are great, but the gains that you're getting out of the amount of, based on the amount of work that you put in, is going to be commensurate, okay? So it's whatever you put in is what you're going to put out. Just make sure you take care of responsibilities in a timely fashion, all right? So overall, it's going to be quite a little bit busy. But I do feel on the social front, on the work front, things are busy all around, and you like to keep busy anyways. You like to hop from one thing to the next. Just make sure you don't overextend yourself in terms of like time constraints, okay? Everything else looks really good, and it is a really passionate, promising week. So I hope you enjoy your weekend. Take care of yourself. I'll see you next week, possibly.